Hey, Valley Middle, welcome back to Mr. Dudley's math class online. Here we go. Time to start off with something fun before we get too serious. All right, just for fun. What is this symbol and how much was the original designer paid to create it? If you don't know what the symbol is, you may have been living under a rock with Mr. Persons the last couple of days or years. All right, enough of that beating on Mr. Persons. Let's go back to the target. Our target is I can write one variable equations for a given situation. I can write one variable equation for a given situation. Now here's the most important thing to remember. You're just writing the equations in this lesson. I know that you're going to try to want to solve it because that's what we do. We're focused on solving the problems. But in this lesson, writing the equation is all I'm asking you to do. So I'm going to use simple numbers you can do in your head. All right, here's a real world example right out of your math book. Each winter, humpback whales migrate 1,500 miles to the Indian Ocean. However, one whale migrated 5,000 miles in one season. How many miles further than normal did this whale travel? All right, look at the way they set this up. Here's the normal migration. You've got some extra miles that the one whale migrated, and then equaling the total, the farthest migration. So they picked out a variable for the the extra miles, and they said m for miles. So here's the equation that they wrote, and this is our target for today. 1,500 miles, that's what's the normal migration, plus all of those extra miles equaling 5,000. Now if you want to know the answer, you can look down here, but again, this is our target, writing the equation tonight. Okay, let's move on. A little vocabulary first. Be careful of these two words. Equations, which I'm using today, and expressions is a word that we've been using in the past. Look at these differences. Expressions, 4x, equation, 4x equals 16. Expression, 36 divided by x. Equation, 36 divided by x equals 9. Do you see the difference? Equations have an equal sign in them. Equation, you can almost see the word equal in there. So remember that. Okay? All right, let's move on. Our first example. My 3 kids went trick-or-treating last Halloween. Tara got 200 pieces of candy. Connor got 300 pieces. If they got 900 pieces altogether, how many pieces did brother Casey get? Well, I wrote out the equation and I labeled everything because that's one way you can really make sure that you have the right equation. So I've got Tara here. I've got Connor here with their 200 and their 300. Casey was unknown, so I just gave him a C for Casey or for candy, equaling a total of 900 pieces. All right, and that's a perfect equation for that. 200 plus 300 plus C equals that 900. Okay? We'll worry about solving it later. Just worrying about writing it. All right, here's one for you to try on your own. Mrs. Carruthers drives a total of 200 miles each week to work and to drop her son off at daycare. Of those miles, 150 miles are to school and back. How many miles does she drive each week to get to Declan to daycare and back? So here's the prompt that you're going to see in the quiz and on the test. Ooh, it doesn't want to do that. It doesn't want to slide down for me tonight. There we go. Write an equation that represents this problem. That's what we'll be asking you. Pause the screen, pause the YouTube video and work it out. Okay, I'm back. Well, doing it my way, it's labeled real carefully. I got D is the daycare miles, plus 150, those are the school miles, equals the 200 total miles. Now you could flip it around. You could say 150 plus D equals 200. That doesn't matter. Okay? All right, let's try another example. Ricky Tiki Tok has 189 baseball cards. He puts them into a binder with the same number of cards on each page. He fills 21 pages. How many cards are displayed on each page? All right, I'm going to ask you the same thing. I want you to write an equation that represents this problem. But I need you to be careful on this one. This sounds like a division problem and can be solved with division. But it gets tricky when you're writing a division equation. So my tip to you is going to be to write this as a multiplication equation. And whenever possible, write the equation for a division problem using a multiplication of a variable. Okay? Pause it and give it a shot. Okay, I'm back. Here's the way I set it up. Here are the pages in the binder. You know there's 21 of them. You know there's a certain number of pages on each binder, and that's our variable, our certain number of cards on each binder page, equaling a total of 189 cards. So notice how I labeled it out. 21 times C, cards per page, equals 189. Okay? All right, one more example before I cut you loose. All right, the Sidewinders lost 42 games last season in the Grapefruit League. They played a total of 100 games. How many games did they win? See if you can write an equation that represents this problem. And go ahead and pause. Okie dokie, I'm back. All right, let's see how you did. This is the way I set it up. 100 equals 42 plus W. You could flip that around and say W plus 42 equals 100 too. Or you could say 40 plus W equals 100, or 42 plus W equals 100. The important thing is what do you have on each side of the equal sign and making sure that those are the same. So here's the total games played, 100. Total number of losses, 42, plus W for wins is going to equal 100. Okay? All right. I think it's time to move on to the ticket to the show. For tomorrow, two little problems. Here, I started the year with 100 pencils. Mrs. Carlton gave me some more. Now I have 132 pencils. How many did Miss Carlton give me? And the second one, Mr. Perkins, or Persons, had 23 coins in a jar. He gave a handful to his kids to play with. Now he has only 16 coins. How many coins did he give his kids? Okay? See if you can work out those equations for me. All right. Let's go to the Just for Fun and get the answers to the trivia questions. All right. What is the symbol and how much was the original designer paid to create it? Well, of course, it is the Nike symbol. And the creator of the Nike swoosh was paid only $35 for the design. Probably one of the most recognizable designs in history. I have absolutely no idea where the creator got the concept to make the Nike swoosh. Sorry, I thought that was kind of a funny picture. Actually, it was created by Carolyn Davidson, who was a young graphic designer, and this guy, Phil Knight, was teaching accounting at Portland State University when he met Davidson and hired her to create the swoosh for his company, Blue Ribbon Sports. All right, well, that's just for fun, a little trivia you can share. All right, have a good evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.